Hey, what's up everybody? It's Russell. Welcome to my new channel, and today we're going to be talking about the law of attraction, what it is, what it definitely isn't, and why it is above all not demonic. Now, this kind of seems like something this seems like something you may be wondering why I would so instantly jump into. Now, you may be wondering why I'm instantly jumping into using words like demonic to describe this practice, even though you think it's. Now, you may be wondering why I would use a word like demonic to describe the law of attraction when, in your perspective, it so clearly isn't. But I am here to point out that that is not the only perspective, and there are definitely people on the internet who would use that term to describe this practice. So to start off, So to give this some context, I should say that one of my new guilty pleasures is watching Christian testimonials on YouTube, and for those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically people who used to be New Age or practicing some element of paganism, and then they supposedly repent and come to Christianity and basically renounce all of what their previous lifestyle had to offer. And that's not to say people can't do that, but this is specifically directed at the people who then openly shame other people who are choosing different practices, which can very quickly become very annoying. And one of the biggest concepts in paganism, which I think is, and one of the biggest concepts these people choose to attract, and one of the biggest concepts that these people choose to attack is the law of attraction, because it is so broad, so many people use it. You don't have to be anywhere near the pagan community or witchcraft or anything else to see the value in law of attraction, which is basically to say, focus on what you want to achieve. A common word is manifest in your own life. Such as when people say, oh, well, if you're thinking about something, then you're going to notice it more in your life. Like when you hear a new word, and then all of a sudden you hear it the next day on television, and you're like, huh, I've never heard that word before, and now, right when I know what it is, I suddenly am seeing it everywhere. And there's some science to back up. Why that is, although I have to admit sometimes it is a little spooky. Basically, how people are using this principle is to say, okay, I want more money in my life, so they'll focus on the money they're trying to bring in. They're thinking, how would somebody with more money be living their life? And they choose to adopt their practices, like waking up earlier, putting in extra hours, changing the way they approach the way they make money, all kinds of different things. It's basically choosing to focus on what you want or what you want to bring into your life, and then saying, if I focus on that, then it is going to be drawn back to me. Now, this is where there can be some different discrepancies. There are a lot of people like myself who approach this very psychologically and saying that, oh yeah, that can be shown that if you're focusing on this, then you're more likely to bring it into your life, because that's kind of the intent you're putting behind the way you live. There are other people who will approach it from a more spiritual-based paradigm, and there are people who will approach it from all different sorts of the spectrum, and whichever way you choose is fine. That being said, I think we get into problems with people who are trying to attack this concept, in that it can be approached in such a wide array of practices that to say all of the law of attraction is demonic or bad or sinful is really not acceptable. And I'm talking about a couple specific videos I saw of people saying they used to do the law of attraction and it worked, but now they're not going to anymore because they see it as ungodly. And I think one of the biggest points that I would like to make in this video is that that's fine if you are a Christian and you want to say that a specific thing is ungodly for you, but I think the thing that these people have to realize is that not everybody's operating under a Christian paradigm, and even so many Christians aren't operating under the same paradigm, that you really can't make these broad stroke claims like that, because there's just such a variety in the way people believe things, how they live their life, how they practice their faith, or just how they choose to live their life in general. So if you are a Christian and you do not feel that the law of attraction is something you want in your life because it is demonic, that's fine, and you don't have to do it. But to then say the law of attraction in general is demonic and people who practice it are sinning or they're going to hell or whatever, it's really far too big of a claim. And it really can't be substantiated with any sort of evidence to back it up. Another huge fallacy I see in the argument that these people are using is they take it to the far one end of the spectrum, saying, oh, people who are doing this, and there are people who do this, there are people who will use the law of attraction and say they're calling on some kind of like mystical higher power, and it's like, you know what, if you want to do that, that's fine, do it. But I do think it is disregarding the fact that so many people who are approaching this really aren't doing it, that so many people who are doing this aren't approaching it from that lens. And so many videos I've watched on people who do believe in law of attraction are really not anywhere near the kind of spiritual side of YouTube or the neo-pagan side of YouTube, and they're just kind of more basic lifestyle channels. So I think if you're to say the law of attraction as a whole is demonic, the people who are coming at it from a completely secular perspective are going to say that's kind of crap, because there's really nothing spiritual about it. And also, that being said, people who are choosing to try to evoke whatever or whoever to kind of get the universe rolling and get it on their side, these people often aren't operating under the same paradigm as you. So to say that they are doing something demonic is kind of a slap in the face to their own beliefs and what they're choosing to practice, and just downright ill-informed. So again, I guess kind of the main point of this video that I'm going to reiterate is making these broad stroke claims like this are really kind of damaging to the nuance of spirituality and perspective and even psychology. It gets to a point where you're saying, okay, scientists and researchers are showing if you choose to focus on this, you're more likely to bring it into your life. And then to say, oh, well, that's demonic is kind of also a spit in the face to science as a whole. And it's one thing if your spirituality doesn't match up with someone else's, but when your spirituality starts to really get in the way of these scientific findings, then it's kind of like, maybe you need to reevaluate how strict you're being with yourself in your practice. And if you want to deny science to your own detriment, that's fine. But once you start spreading misinformation and potentially impacting the lives of those around you, it's like, okay, that's where it becomes a real problem, because you could be handing some very dangerous information into people's hands who don't really know that it's dangerous information, and that's kind of where the harm will come in. And to give a name to it, they really are practicing that appeal to extremes fallacy, where they're only choosing to look at one end of the spectrum and not the spectrum as a whole. And I've seen Christians in these videos actually accept that certain parts of the law of attraction are okay, and they are like substantiated in either studies, or they just seem like they're a completely innocuous practice, like just saying, oh, I want more money in my life, so I'm going to start waking up earlier. I'm going to, like, oh, I want to be healthier, so I'm going to start acting the way I think someone healthy would act, and I'm going to wake up earlier, and I'm going to drink a kale smoothie, and then I'm going to go to the gym for 20 minutes before work, and that's fine. And they agree that that's fine. And then they take it 4 steps further and saying these people are trying to summon the blood of, say these people are trying to summon the devil and they're using the devil for these practices. And for a lot, if not most people who are doing the law of attraction are most certainly not trying to summon the devil in any kind of capacity. So by taking it to that kind of extreme, you're completely negating the fact that you're not addressing 99% of the people who would be practicing the law of attraction. So really, if you want to say that if somebody else is a Christian and they are following the exact same beliefs as you, and you're trying to set up an argument that this kind of law of attraction is demonic, if these people are trying to summon Satan, then... So if you're trying to tell the story of... So if you're trying to set up an argument that from a Christian paradigm, somebody who is a Christian summoning the devil and trying to get them... Summoning the devil and trying to get the devil to do their own biddings, and then still trying to follow a Christian path and then saying that's wrong, I can understand that. Because if someone is operating under this paradigm and they're saying, oh, like, yeah, this is obvious, like they're obviously practicing something that would not jive with kind of these biblical aspects. And I want to stray away from talking about the Bible too much because I don't know that much about it. And if I'm being honest, I don't really care to debate these kind of ethical dilemmas within the Christian paradigm because I really have no business, because I really have just no desire to do that. There's a billion other Christians who will try to justify these practices or not justify these practices. Basically just what I'm trying to say is not everybody's a Christian, not everybody is trying to evoke the devil, and just because some small niche population of people are trying to do it does not mean that everybody, if not most people, are doing it, and that by trying to claim that everybody who is practicing this is somehow demonic or appealing to the powers of the devil, honestly is just kind of completely ridiculous. So this is kind of my response video to the various testimonies of people that I have seen on the internet saying that the law of attraction is demonic, and I just think that's kind of crap. So here's my video response. Hope you liked it. See you next time. Peace out.